Thank you for joining me. This is the SCarcity Studios YouTube channel. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. This story is an example of a county drug lines operation. It originates in Birmingham, but it spreads out to Malvern area, which is on the outskirts of Birmingham. Birmingham being a big city with over 1 million people in, and surrounded by loads of little villages and towns. The operation was carried out by RICO, which is the Regional Organised Crime Unit. These guys do not mess around. These are, in my opinion, these are the equivalent to the Americans' feds. Any case that these guys do, they don't lose. I don't know what their conviction rate is, but it's very high. These were the guys that actually sent down KB, Blake's and Rico guys. The operation was codenamed Operation Ballet. I'd love to know who makes these code names up. And it involves Michael Miller, Bradley Hughes and Marco Velasco. Bradley's from Malvern and Miller and Velasco are both from Birmingham, West Brum and Aston. The police used covert tactics to identify the activity of the Miller line and those behind the management and operations. The line was advertising drugs to more than 100 customers and typically made up to £1,000 a day. They say there was no young children used in these operations, be county lined operations, that they're using a lot of young children to be able to do this, to move the drugs around without being noticed. Michael Miller made more than £100,000 in a 12-month period. They're calling him a drug kingpin. After they come onto their radar, he was first arrested on December the 13th last year when he was spotted in Malvern on a suspected delivery of drugs. He ran away from officers but was quickly caught, and a bag containing heroin and crack cocaine valued at more than £1,000 was found nearby. There used to be this old theory that if the drugs weren't found upon you, that meant that you couldn't be convicted or charged with it. That doesn't count nowadays. If they can just insinuate in any way, shape or form that you may have connection to what they've found close to you, you will be charged and convicted for it. And that was the first time. And then again on the 2nd, June the 12th, he was driving in the Worcester area, which is the county that Malvern is in, and he was found in possession of the actual phone they called the Miller hotline. In the following days, they arrested Velasco and Bradley Hughes from the Malvern area. Them admitted conspiracy to supply crack and cocaine at Worcester Crown Court, and Miller was sentenced to 8 years and 9 months. Hughes and Velasco got 45 and 30 months. The police made a massive point that he had a massive selection of clothes and designer goods, claiming belts and shoes and trainers to be worth up to about £10,000. But Miller declared he had no form of income and he was unemployed. The police have launched the Proceeds of Crime Act against Miller, which basically is what they do against criminals to take away any money and stuff they've brought that they can't prove where it's come from. So, for example, wages or a reasonable source of income. At this point, most criminals will tend to start giving stuff away, so start signing stuff over to relatives and that. You can appeal this as well. So I know somebody that actually appealed this for about 5 years, I think it is. I think you can do it you can appeal it a couple of times. If they say they're coming for your house and they've put all the stuff in and it's gone through and the judge has said okay, you appeal it and then they can't touch your house then for another year or two. So there is ways around it, but with these county drug line operations, they've been going on for years because they've started doing a few documentaries on them. More publicity has come to them, but it is as simple as, in a city as big as Birmingham, so the competition is a lot. So when you go to a smaller city or town or village, your city upbringing, automatically people have the edge. So it's a lot easier to run a line in a little village than it is to run a line in the city, because you ain't got to worry about rivals, you haven't got to worry about people robbing you so much and stuff like that. It's just easy. It is literally what they call easy money. But at the same time as well, in these smaller villages, you stand out, like regardless of your race. When you're from the big cities and you're in a village, people can just tell. They can just feel it from you. They can just tell, especially in a place like Malvern. It has 30,000 people in. 30,000 people. Like Birmingham, over 1 million, probably nearly 2. And there's 30,000 people in this little village. So you stand out like a sore thumb if you ever driving through there and you're coming from the ends. To hear people's opinions on these sort of stories and cases and the time as well. So please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. And also check us out weekly at 10 till 2 on the UK Takeover Show on hot92.net, the biggest underground pirate radio station in Birmingham.